Hello Gunners, welcome to another video, and we've got a new series on the channel every single day, whether it's 4 PM UK time, 5 PM UK time, 6 PM, 7 PM, whenever the time is appropriate. I'll be uploading a transfer video special, and it is called Is It Gonna Happen, regarding the transfer window, who Arsenal are gonna sign, who the biggest links have been during the day, and you don't want to miss it, Gunners, so turn on those notifications and make sure you're here every time at 4 to 7. But let us just get straight into it. We're going to go with the Arsenal are targeting Bryan Mbeumo. I kind of briefly touched on it in my video earlier, but I hate being an ITK, and I've never claimed to have information, but somebody who, follows me on my Instagram page DM'd me and said, Bryan Mbeumo, a bid is going to happen. He really wants to join us. I think this deal can genuinely happen. And it was the same person, and you'll probably think it's, a nonsense story, but when I tell you, this guy told me Matt Ryan was joining Arsenal a couple of years ago. The same guy who DM'd me this before the deal actually happened is the same guy saying Bryan Mbeumo is likely to happen. We're going to put in a bid. He wants to come. So it makes me believe that this could be very, very true. And, he's only got a couple years on his contract, or maybe he's going into his last year of his contract, actually. So the fee apparently will be around 40 million as well. So that just makes it seem like a deal you would want to make. So I kind of thought about it. We're looking at Bryan Mbeumo and his stats. This season, he's gone to a new level. 27 goal contributions, 15 in the season before that, 17 in the season before that. And then obviously you got, sort of 15 in the season before that. So good numbers, to be fair. He's obviously gone up that level, like I've said, under Thomas Frank this season. He's a sharp shooter. He's a right winger. He can play centre forward, I guess. He could probably play left wing as well. But the thing that Arsenal fans have been feeling, and I gather this from looking at social media, looking at the general reaction to this deal and a potential sort of move happening, is how Bryan Mbeumo is going to fit into our system. And I drafted up two potential lineups with Bryan Mbeumo. One where he plays in the number 9 role with Martinelli, or the left winger signing if we make one, to the left of him, Saka to the right of him, and obviously Odegaard, Rice, Zubimendi could be Partey in there if he stays. But does that feel like a forward line which you would fear if you're in opposition? Do you look at a Martinelli, Mbeumo, Saka front three, and do you think, ooh, I'm going to have a really, really tough game? I think in certain game states where we're not going to have much as the ball, where I actually don't think that would ever happen. I don't think there's a single team out there where we enter a game and we're like, we might not have the ball. Against Liverpool, we have the ball. Against Manchester City, I guess, is the only team whereby we can surrender the ball and have a front three like this, transition-based, quick, turning defence into attack as fast as possible. I think this is the only sort of way a game or a front three like this would make sense. And I'm being critical, and I'm being probably a bit petty, because Bryan Mbeumo is an absolutely incredible player with so many qualities. Then you have this version, which I've seen floating away. Could be Havertz up front, could be GYOKERES, could be Sesko, could be Isak if we somehow pull them, wrap out the hat and sign him. But you're looking at a front three there of Martinelli, Havertz and Mbeumo, and then Saka or Odegaard in the 8th position. We've seen Saka play in the 8th position very, very few times, but he's always looked pretty decent. I'm thinking about the game against Sheffield United where he played in there all those years ago. Against Man City, he played in the 8th role all those years ago in lockdown, both those times in lockdown, and he looked really, really good. So is Arteta looking at a new way of maximising Saka? We're thinking about Saka in those central areas. He can ball carry. He's got the strength in the jewels. He can pick a pass, find a ball. This could be quite exciting, especially against those low blocks where you want someone to pick up the ball and drive and still have the quality out wide, like an Mbeumo. It could genuinely work. But hey, let me know down below, what's your thoughts on Mbeumo, potential bid? How would he work in the system? Let me know. I'm very, very interested to see, because I'm kind of 50-50 with this. I'd be happy with Mbeumo if it means that we got a striker and someone on the left who can play on the left as well. I'd be happy. But that's my viewpoint on it. And of course, the other link, Anthony Gordon. Arsenal and Chelsea are two clubs understood to be interested in signing Anthony Gordon. It's thought that there is a price tag of around 80 million on him. Recruitment circles, whispers around his future continue to circulate. Gordon played against us the other day. He didn't look at his best, but he's clearly a player who provides a lot of threat. He's a really, really nice little player, I'm not going to lie. He's pacey, but I'm going to put my hands up and I'm going to be like, is he not too similar to Martinelli? Don't we want various different profiles? And for 80 million, is Gordon an 80 million player? I don't think so. I think if we're going to go into Newcastle and sign a player, there's only two. Bruno Guimaraes or Alexander Isak for me are the only two players where you're going into Newcastle and you're trying to sign them. And that is the truth for it. And this is no shade at Gordon. You know, even David Ornstein has said that Anthony Gordon is a player Arsenal really, really like and could be one to watch this summer. So maybe there's going to be a bit of legs of that and we have to warm up to it. But I'm out of the view, 80 million for Gordon or 40 million for MBUEMO. It's 40 million for MBUEMO every single day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Even if it means we've got to look at Nico Williams off the left, a Semenyo off the left, a Rodrigo on the left, someone different. We don't want too many same profiles because it hasn't worked for us, you know. We need a touchline winger who can be direct, but final ball specialist. I feel like Nico Williams is better in the final ball and Rodrigo. Ball striking is good from Gordon, but there's just the price for me wouldn't make sense. And if we look at his stats, you know, this season, Newcastle fans have been so disappointed with Gordon, and he's got 15 goal contributions in, you know, Newcastle colours in 41 games. Before that, he had 22 goal contributions in 48, 4, and then there were 7 for Everton. So when you look at that, does that inspire you? Do you look at an Arsenal front line of Gordon, the number 9, whether it's Havertz, GYOKERES, Isak, and Saka? Do you think, ooh, that's going to be a tough game? I don't think so. I really don't think so. I feel like Gordon has his qualities, but are those qualities what we are lacking in the front line? I wouldn't say so. And then when you look at Martinelli's stats, 15 goal contributions this season, and Arsenal fans, we'd be like, this is an awful season by Martinelli. But when you look at these set of stats of Martinelli and compare it to the ones of Gordon, which I just shown you, it makes you think, are we too harsh on Martinelli? 21 GA in 22-23. In 23-24, 13 GA. 15 GA this season. In 21-22, 12 GA. Those are better set of stats than Gordon. And we're saying Martinelli is horrible, and they're effectively the sort of same mold. But food for thought: would you take an Anthony Gordon? Would you take an MBUEMO? Are we too harsh on Martinelli? All of these things definitely need to be considered. And obviously this news coming out, Christian Mosquera, a player we want to come in for a backup of Saliba. We saw Saliba go out with a hamstring problem. Arteta said at half time, kind of Fury looked immense in centre half, by the way. But it makes you think we need a right-footed profile to go behind Saliba. Leipzig are pushing hard for only 17 million. I feel like this guy, I've talked about him before, he would be a really, really nice acquisition. He's a quality centre-half. Then you've got Victor GYOKERES. Apparently, Man United are going to be the new team in the lead of the race. And I don't mind it, to be honest. I'm not the biggest fan of GYOKERES. I wouldn't be too upset if he went to United. But it's just food for thought. It leaves us all in the air, you know. All the players I've sort of talked about today, you're kind of thinking to yourself, Arsenal have many options, and some people aren't going to be happy with who we choose. Some people are going to be happy with who we choose. But we've got to trust the recruitment team that they make the right choices, because we need to go and win trophies next season.